Hey, so has anything happened in the
No,
NFL draft?
nope, no. According to my sources, it's quite a bit to pay for a corner, folks.
Run me
Uh,
through that as Eric Armstead is currently on the stage as some sort of a cautionary tale.
uh, Walter Payton Man of the Year award, great in the community, tough
Lovely
as
guy.
a podcaster. Um, which I guess if you're gonna pick being a podcaster or a philanthropic individual, he chose the right one.
No,
Yeah, so
we had an active choice, by the way, and we chose podcasts.
yeah, we had
Um,
both were on the table. So yeah, Travis Hunter going.
he's he's a he's a Jaguar.
So here's the thing: the way I view Hunter is you're not gonna do both full time. It's not viable. He's not
No,
big enough, I think, to be able to sustain that. I
right.
think what could happen, and probably what should happen, is he should train aggressively at corner because I think
Hmm.
he's. You can make a case. I have him number one at corner and wide receiver because I literally, honestly do think he's the best at both. Um, I think he should probably play corner because wide receiver, which is not to say there's no complexity, but there is less complexity in playing wide receiver to me than there is corner. I can't see you being like a part-time corner. I
Right,
could see you being a part-time wide receiver, and maybe that's just because it's been done before and he's breaking the mold.
right.
But the physicality is so much different in the NFL. And also he was playing at Colorado and he got hurt. Like, and again, that's not even the SEC. So I love Travis Hunter as a prospect, but the idea that he's going to be able to do both, I think, is pretty optimistic, at least right off the bat. Maybe he grows into his, he gets a little bit stronger, add some
Well,
weight, but I don't think that's a reasonable approach.
this is a totally unreasonable selection for whomever makes it. It would have been unreasonable for the Browns. It would have been unreasonable. It is unreasonable for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is a flashy move. It is a move that's going to get you some fun headlines. It might sell a season ticket or two. But and there's no question that Travis Hunter is a wonderful football player. But in order for him to be valuable, to be the number 2 overall pick, he has to do both. He has to do both. You wouldn't draft a wide receiver number 2 overall with his skill set. Sorry, like you'd have to be a truly special wide receiver. He's not a truly special wide receiver. There are no truly
He
special
could
wide
be.
receivers in
He
this
could
class.
be.
Maybe
But
he's a
it but
truly
you're but
special athlete.
it's not right. In terms of actual craft, he is not clearly that as a wide receiver yet, and that's understandable, but like it's a lot to ask, man.
And then
And I love
corner,
him.
like I just
I love
do
the
I
kid,
just do
but
not believe in a cornerback going number 2. And he might be generational as a corner, and I understand that there have been guys who have gone up in there have been top 5 corner picks. Stingley was a great pick, and we can make an argument about Sauce Gardner here or there, but
yeah.
like clearly not bad. Um, I don't love the value here. I think the value only makes sense for Jacksonville. Well, first off, the value doesn't make sense at 2 in a vacuum unless you get a
Yeah.
lot out of him on
Cuz it
both
cuz
sides of the ball.
it's Jacksonville's giving up they're flipping 5 for 2 and they're giving up they're giving
Next
up
year's first round pick.
their second this year, which is 33 if I'm not mistaken, or 34. Um
Why don't we
right
just
at the start of the first round, and then uh, Eric Armstead's it's fine.
Okay,
And
the
then they're giving
Browns
up
are trading the
yeah.
number 2 overall pick, 104 and 200 for 5. Sorry, I gotta put my phone on silent. It's not. How far behind the scenes do y'all want to go as to what I was doing? Like this is, whew, whew. Um, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
This is ridiculous.
it's insane because you're giving up next year's 1, you're giving up your 2 this year, you're giving up 4, and they get like a 4 and a 6 in return. So there's at least some like late round picks, which actually could be semi valuable, but it's like it's a lot to give up. It's a
You're
lot to
trading
give up.
You're trading 2 first rounders and a second
for a corner who's going to play some gadget wide receiver. And listen, like as a prospect, I think he's the best corner. I think he's the best wide receiver. But like doing both,
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can do it.
You can't be both at the same time. It'd be awesome if he was, but
if he had another like 10, 15 pounds on his frame, right? That's just all muscle. You could be like, all right, well, but like he's a skinny dude. And like, I don't know. It's a lot to ask. The NFL's such a different beast.
He's absolutely sick. I guess if anyone could do it, it's him.
Yeah. And listen, I'm not knocking him. I love him as a player. Anyone that was talking about character concerns out of their mind. He seems like a very good kid. Did you see him dancing with like the band before the actual draft? He's like dancing with the band on stage.
No, he is by all accounts boring off the field.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is video game and be a goofball.
Yeah, the only knock people had against him was like stuff with his girlfriend, which I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. So,
dude, yeah, that's that.
It's not a Kyle Filipowski situation. That's all I know, and that's the only time you go, let's not go there.
Nor should we. I like keeping this channel monetized.
I agree.
It is. Speaking of which, if you're watching, thank you very much. We're happy to have you all here. We're going to have a night tonight. Should have said all of that at the start, but we're in it now, baby. This is the Dieter and Hutch 2025 NFL Draft. They're doing it just for us as we sit in our homes.
It's actually the draft guide was just something I put together and like, all right, let's do something for him. You know, let's get back a little bit.
They weren't going to do a draft, and then we're like, hey, would you guys be cool doing a draft? And they're like, oh, I guess we could.
Guess.
What an interesting concept.
It's like a Make-A-Wish.
So here's the deal with tonight's show. It obviously looks a little different. You're welcome. And in that, it is for our official Sicko members only. If you are a member, if you are a paying customer for this channel, God help you. God help you. We love you so much. By the way, shout out to Goat Lord. We are going to fulfill our promises. Promises made, promises kept. Right here. Shout out Goat Lord.
Yep.
Your chat's going right on the side. It's right there. Jake can't see it because it's all running on my computer, but it's all happening right there. You got a little ESPN tracker in the middle. That's not going so hot. I thought ESPN would auto refresh. Wrong. That's a JavaScript issue. We'll get into the bottom of that.
And, we're mostly going to be talking about JavaScript until the 49ers make their selection.
And then Jake and I are going to discuss Abdul Carter's dad's giant Adidas
I will say, credit to the NFL. Typically, they have made this stuff wait. I think what happened is they knew the trade at 2 was coming in, right? And so they said, all right, you don't have to wait on the Cam Ward stuff. No one actually cares. They know the trade's coming. So we're just going to let this thing ride. This is the quickest first 3 picks I've seen in years.
I would like to also note, and I think Bomani Jones had a tweet about this.
What is he wearing? Okay, sorry.
They're all listen. Abdul Carter's got stuff going on. That's
I don't know about fashion.
Honestly, kind of got some Matrix energy going on. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have knocked him up a little bit. He wouldn't have gone over for Mykel Williams, but like, if you're gonna wear something to the draft, wear that. You know,
that's fair. That's fair.
Also, I think that will date well. Not to get into fashion here or anything,
right?
But like,
I do think honestly, if it were me, I would go full like early 2000s enormous suit, just for the vibes, just NBA.
You just want the photos to completely look discongruent with the time and place.
Yeah, I want the suit that goes down to my shins, where it's basically a trench coat at that point.
Okay,
which is basically what he's wearing.
Let's first off, my wife checks in. Logistics question: how did they get his name on the jersey so fast?
They have someone.
Shout out to Heather.
They do have someone. They have all the names and they have the jersey.
They're sitting in the back.
It's a great question.
In the back.
It's a great question.
Shout out Heather, the ultimate sicko.
That guy's the sick.
Here we go. Here we go. Let me. So there's the phone is not it's like literally getting hot. iPhone 13 mini with the little hippo
Nice.
on the back.
Nice. That's cute.
So there is smoke. I have no read on New England. No read at all. Now
it could be Membu, it could be Graham.
The whole world is collapsed in terms of
Campbell.
That move at 2, which there had been a lot of talk about for an hour preceding the draft. Maybe it came up. It came up at like 3. I'm probably catching it later than most, but I was not. You just don't know. The Patriots. I guess the Patriots are going to make the pick. There was a lot of chatter before the draft about the Patriots moving off of that. It's going to be Will Campbell in my
they've been linked to Campbell for months, and unlike the Jaguars doing the thing where they're trying to convince people they're in for Graham or whatever, it's Campbell has been the one they've been linked with. This thing's moving.
This is great, and I'm going to be able to put my kids to bed. And let's also establish 5 is going to be. Do you think Cleveland drafts at 5? Because it's beyond smoke. It's almost just presumed that the Bears were moving to 5 for Genty.
I could see that. I don't understand it, quite honestly, given that there's 3 other running backs that I don't think are that much worse than Genty. We've talked about this plenty.
Genty's wearing like bedazzled Crocs. So
I think that I'm all in. Dieter's fashion takes are woeful. I'm all in on the bedazzled Crocs.
It's kind of incredible. We've spent a lot of time on the
fantastic look. Abdul Carter. So
at 3,
it's fine. It's fine. Unless his shoulder or foot explode. I also don't think he can set the edge. I think, honestly, it's weird that people were talking about Carter in a way that was like different than Jalen Walker, because they should be talked about pretty similarly, right? Because that's sort of the mold. Carter is bigger, and he's Mike Green size.
Interesting perspective,
right? But I do think the narrative about him just being like a pure, like edge rusher who's like there's no concerns are kind of weird when he's more in the mold of like linebacker / edge. Who, again, Mike Green size, so smaller but not damningly sized, whereas Walker's much smaller. He just can't set an edge for me. So,
sorry, I'm not trying to be rude.
No, it's listen. I think it's a fine pick for the Giants. He was not number 1 on either of our boards.
It's going to be Campbell at 4. Who's going at 5? If the Browns hold on to 5. Who is that? Is it Membu? Is it Mykel?
It could be. The Browns need kind of everything, right?
Yeah, the Browns can go any direction.
Oof. I don't think it's Graham.
Send a text.
Membu feels like an option, but it's like, are you going to trade off Travis Hunter and just get like an offensive lineman without the, you're losing a little bit of that sparkle. I don't think that's necessarily a good way to calculate if you're doing business right, but
it's okay. I mean, they're obviously they're shopping 5 like crazy.
Mike Green?
And don't be shocked if it's Chicago.
For Genty.
But I don't know if Chicago needs to move up that high to get Genty.
I don't understand. It feels like Poles, and it just feels like he's like, I know that guy's name. Let's go with that guy. Like it's a little too obvious. To me.
I think Ryan. I like Ryan Poles. I think Ryan Poles is a very sharp dude. I think Ryan Poles wants people to know his name a little bit too much.
I think so.
I think the best, like, we all know Howie Roseman's name. We shouldn't. Like, Howie Roseman, he's not flashy, right? He's just out there doing his thing. He's not trying to get attention.
Sometimes he is when he calls in on teams to just absolutely screw with them right before they make the pick, but
that's just funny. I just respect it.
You should do more of that. All right. Real quick while we're at commercial break,
Yeah.
I'm going to grab a beer before it explodes because I put it in the freezer.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, go get that. Okay.
I'll be back. I'll be back very quickly.
Meanwhile, I'll just read text messages. Nope. This is bad. This is bad content. Graham for the Browns. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's a good source. We'll see. Wow. Okay. We're doing stuff live on the air. The only text I got there was just Graham. So I don't know if I presume they're well ahead of whatever's happening on our televisions and YouTube TVs and Fuboos. And actually, I should have just gotten the antenna because then it would have had no latency issues. But here we are.
I leave for 1 second, and Dieter's talking about latency.
Sorry, no, we're breaking some news. It's going to be Graham at 5. We'll see.
Okay, terrible pour, but check out the iced mug.
Wow, look at you, buddy. I probably should have done that, but I just got too much shit to do tonight.
Yeah.
I also just can we have a quick moment to acknowledge the peculiarity of going to the NFL draft?
I don't understand it. There was one guy who wrote some column for the New Yorker or something that was like, "Ooh, the draft isn't fun." It's going.
Okay,
it's like
pull it back. His name is Will Leach. He founded Deadspin, and it was for New York Magazine. Let's put some respect on the name.
Sorry, was not aware.
Also, Will Campbell, double-breasted suit. You can't pull that off, big fella.
I disagree.
Big guys can't do double-breasted.
He looks like a henchman for Al Capone. This is awesome.
Dude, his entire shtick is that he's too stumpy, and then he's out here in a double-breasted suit looking like he's as wide as he is tall.
No, I disagree with my original opinion. I saw it from a different angle, and it's not working as well as he wants it to.
No,
I will say,
not playing.
How
is this the stream?
I appreciate the boldness of the suit.
I think that there is a time and a place. If he goes single-breasted on that, maybe even just a one button, that could really play. What's the beer?
I don't know. I got it.
Oh,
it's called Captain Save-A-Hop.
What
kind of looks like an MF Doom type situation.
Yeah. What is the point of origin there?
Let's see. Full Circle Brewing Co. in Fresno.
Do not brew cum. That would be very, very bad.
No.
Mason Graham at 5. I have not gotten repudiation on that.
Yeah, I mean, Mason Graham, pretty safe.
Yeah, you can go safe when you have all of the draft picks now.
Right.
When you win a deal so goddamn hard that it doesn't matter who you take at 5. Yeah.
You know, the Will Campbell, I think, is going to be fine.
I like Will Campbell.
I like him too. But I think he's if you were going to say top tier, all pro caliber, whatever the Pro Bowl is, because you can't even categorize it that way. I just think he's going to be pretty good for a long time, but I don't know if he's going to be that upper echelon sort of guy. But I do think he's going to be pretty reliably solid, especially in the pass game.
Yeah.
So, and he's sharp. He's sharp. He learns.
That's a huge thing. I don't think we maybe hammered it home enough, and it's certainly something that sort of falls by the wayside during draft evaluations because you're just sort of jumping in on guys. Yeah. This is why watching full games is so important and difficult, inherently difficult. But how do they adapt to getting their ass kicked a little bit?
Yeah, you'll watch them get bowled over, and then you'll see the same approach. Like Kyle Kennard, when they were showing Kyle Kennard got his ass, and then the next play tried the same exact approach and shut it down pretty much for the rest of the game.
It's a totally logical high floor move. You're going to get a left or a right tackle for 7 to 10 years. Mike Vrabel has to give this, like he moves great.
He
They
feels like
just
a
show the highlight
patriot,
of it.
right?
He's just there. You're never going to think about him again. And that's a good thing. No one's, oh, Will Campbell, he's so good. Like, no, he's
Right.
just going to be there. He's going to get a 79 grade from PFF every year in in perpetuity.
He'll be an 84 overall graded Madden player forever.
He'll make a lot more money than you ever thought he should, but you'll never know if he signed a new contract or not.
100%.
Just obscurity in Foxborough. Patriots might have something going too, by the way. Totally logical move. You got your quarterback last year. Here's your tackle. Now you got to get him a weapon.
Make sure he doesn't perish on the field. I think that's fair. I think that's a sound strategy.
It got the
49ers.
They literally had to bench him last year so that he didn't die.
They were like, listen, like we want to put you on the field, but you're not going to make it. So here we go. We'll Campbell that. The angle on these cameras is a little too close for my liking.
I don't know where you're at on this. I'm just, but I will note, I think this is the first top 10 offensive lineman ever taken out of LSU.
Interesting. That's it. I mean,
it's certainly in this decade.
That's
LSU also had horrendous offensive lines under like Les Miles for 10 straight years.
Right. So. It's more of a receiver DB situation.
They got a lot. They got nothing but it. But the ironic part is Louisiana usually produces at least 2 5-star offensive linemen. And they go to Alabama.
They're born. They climb out of the bayou and onto the football field. Some places in this country have storks. Not this place.
Not this place. They have water buffalo. Okay, I am on the ABC feed to answer the question. I got the Browns pick. Is it Mason Graham? Y'all knew 5 minutes ago, though.
You are, you're a good 20 seconds ahead of me. That's awesome. Nice work.
Well,
nice work on the source.
We were well ahead of it.
Yep.
Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Nice.
Do this. So that's that. Okay, so Graham is gone. That is one less person to worry about for the 49ers. It could have actually worked out wonderfully.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we did expect that. There was a lot of...
That Graham would be gone?
Well, we didn't think that the Browns would be taking him for sure.
No, but I mean, through most of the process, we thought he wouldn't be there. Then it's like, oh, he might sort of fall. But I mean, there's just such a safeness to him as a prospect, and it just a level of production in both areas of the game that I think my gut feeling was always that he wasn't going to make it to 11. It's going to get very, very interesting here because
I don't think so. I think it's Kelvin Banks if the Bears don't move up into it. That's not reporting. That's just personal speculation. I think I'm done reporting for the night. That was really stressful for me. I hate. This is why I got out of the breaking news game. Like, and not to do it. This is not a pat myself on the back thing. Legitimately,
not a humble brag.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It is so not worth it. I wear it. I physically wear it. I think you have to be a sociopath to do it well.
Well, you do. I think you actually do. I mean, some of the stuff Schefter over the years has like shared where you're like, did you even check this as like a human person for some of the agent quotes you're sharing?
Don't even start me on in agents. I can't.
Yeah.
You're going to just lie to me for fun. But if I put out something that's incorrect, I lose my job and my credibility.
Right.
But you can just say whatever you want and be earnest about it because like, and this is one of the reasons it's like, dude, you're just doing this as a weather balloon. You're just tossing it out there because you know that I'll tweet it or I'll ask somebody about it. And then that gets the ball rolling in this way. And it's just like, you're just using me, but you're using me in malicious ways. So I stopped doing it.
Yeah, it's not a fun game. It's not a fun game to play.
But it is.
You try and have some sort of moral compass that you maintain, which is tough in that information game.
Is this Mason Graham? What am I looking at here? Besides Mason Graham's Is that his very hot girlfriend? If you're 20 seconds behind, you'll know in a moment. Vegas 6. They're not doing Genty, right? Kelvin Banks, big connection between Banks
Could be that.
and.
I think if they wanted to get fun with it, you could go Jahdae Barron. I don't think they would go, but if you want to get fun with it,
lot. Pete Carroll.
I mean, that's what I did in my mock this morning on the Hutch report.
Shout out Hutch report. I should have made a QR code for that. By the way, I got to make sure this QR code works and I didn't send you to some porn site. Or was that the intention all along?
Either way, whatever site you get to, it was kismet. It was meant to be.
Oh yeah, no, it's my OnlyFans channel. Okay, it's all feet.
This is interesting.
I have bad toenails.
I mean, Genty would make a lot of sense. I don't know, man. I still think like any team taking a running back in the top 10.
Lot of white dudes in the Raiders room.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're doing this live.
It's live, folks. You get what you pay for.
I remember going to a Cubs game one time and I'm being like, I think only white people are here. You just don't unhear that.
Wrigley
By the
Bell,
way, in kids say the darndest things energy, I was explaining to my 2-year-old tonight that actually, I have to work. And, I'm sorry. It's, what do you work? Are you going to watch football? Which is what she immediately asks. And then I go, it's Genty. Well.
Okay.
Raiders are going to feel great about that.
He's a good player. I just don't think the value is there taking a running back 6 overall when I don't see him as a totally transformative player like I did with like Saquon or Bijan Robinson in terms of talent. I also don't think
last running back to go in the top 10, Barkley in 2018.
And Saquon was like a god amongst men, where you're like, I know it's a running back, but he's the greatest player I've ever seen. Genty's awesome. Genty's awesome, but like, you gotta like, for me, you can't just be like a pure running back. And I'm not saying he can run with swing passes, and he's outrageous at breaking, after the catch and breaking off after tackles. Right? He's outstanding. He sees it well. You can run swing passes, but like, I need to see him as like a clear elite receiving back as well, and I don't see that.
This guy looks like a fat Kai Cenat coming down the hallway. Milo Ford.
Listen, he's awesome, but
Milo, he's yes. I'm done talking about him. The Raiders took him. It almost justifies no one should take him in the first round argument. It's like, but then the Raiders do stuff like that. Milo Ford, an interesting question here, Jake. Extreme cope. I don't think any cope is necessary. I think the Niners are sitting pretty here. But does this mean Membu can fall?
Well, this would be the spot for him. This would be the spot.
Jets at 7?
The Jets have been mocked with Membu for weeks and months and all that. I think if Membu doesn't go here, that gets very interesting. It gets very, very interesting.
If I'm Tyler Warren's agent, I'm a little freaked out right now.
Why is that? Because you think it's...
Unless the Bears take me, this gets really dicey really fast.
There's like a weird world where like Colston Loveland like goes ahead of him. And that's not my opinion. That's like some teams have
heard that today
above him. I disagree quite strongly, but that's their opinion.
There's a situation. So, like, Atlanta is going to move off of 15 in all likelihood.
Because they don't have anything after 46, I think. They've got a big gap.
So, they're moving off of 15. The Colts are an interesting spot. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is it's Tennessee. Tennessee, after pick 40 or 35, has nothing until, like, 103. So that's like an interesting, like, later on, them trading down at 35 could be an option. Like if the 49ers want to...
Membu with the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
you have your quarterback in Fields, like you got to protect him.
God.
Sorry.
I genuinely it's funny because I'm technically a Jets fan. I'm probably as far away from them in terms of following them as you could possibly be. I completely forgot they're going with Fields.
Yeah, they paid him a lot of money too.
That's fun.
Okay, 8. Jalen Walker is all the rage for 8.
Interesting. I would have thought Walker Mykel
Williams.
could be a Walker Mykel back to back 8-9.
That is my expectation. If I had to place a bet right now, Nolan's gone at 11 to the Niners.
I would that would yeah. That checks.
I will add that the 49ers might select at number 8. They're high on Mykel. Now, is that a confirmation bias thing? Someone telling me that because they know I'm a Mykel guy? Like, maybe.
Right.
Maybe. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I just don't feel like he's getting to 11.
He's not getting to 11. He's not getting past 9 if he's there. He's not getting past 9. The Saints are ready to take him.
I would almost think he goes here.
That's not speculation. That's a fact.
I would almost think he goes here and then Walker goes at 9.
Mm-hmm. I can't give you a definitive answer on who Carolina's going to take, but it is interesting that I heard Walker's name so much, and it was brought up amongst like a Luke Kuechly like thing. They're like, oh, we want that kind of a player. We want somebody because he's elite off the field, right. Sharp as it. Like they just want that character. They want that guy. So there we go.
Silver's in the Jaguars war room for this. That makes sense.
Mike Silver.
Yep.
It'd be weird.
It's interesting he's allowed to tweet at all.
They're just winging it over there in Jacksonville.
Well, it's a former, he was with the Rams, so there's stuff there.
I wouldn't know anything about what's going on in the Rams front office. Jake, I don't know why you would suggest anything of the sort.
Do you, if you had to bet, would you guess the Niners trade up to 8 for Mykel here?
No, I would. No.
I
because
agree.
when that comes across my radar, then I chase after it for a while. And I'm not saying it was sheer speculation, but I am going to say that it lacked the oomph.
The zhuzh. Didn't have the...
Yeah. I couldn't get a ton of people to be like, oh, yeah, I heard that too. At a certain point, if it's only coming from one corner, it'll
be interesting here if the Bears, like, so Gentry's gone, right? Did they say?
I have no idea what the Bears want to do now.
Did they say? Well, I guess Graham is gone. So I put out a scenario where Graham was available at 10, Gentry's gone, and then the Bears trade down because the Bears need some extra picks to like 13 with Miami, and then the Colts trade up to 11 to get Warren or something. I don't see it, but
I want to go to the chat here. Scott Sullivan, how would the Niners even use Walker if he was the pick? He doesn't seem to fit the scheme at all. You're right, Scott. You changed the goddamn scheme. Like, easier said than done. That's a Dieter Kurtenbach special. Just do that. You know how you just paid a ton of money to your defensive coordinator because he runs the scheme that he brought in and all this. Like, just change the scheme for that player. But he is such a special. I would play him at weak side linebacker and find cool, interesting ways to get him involved beyond.
They just call it the wider 9, and they just have him playing. He's basically lined up as a nickel.
Yeah,
and then you just have him run
Bosa
around.
sometimes lines up and he's at 14 technique.
Right. I love how the numbers
he's standing on the yard line.
Yeah. So the Jets finally
literally on. He's how you throw outside the numbers, they're going to line up outside the numbers.
They should. I was reading today about how the hashes actually started. It was because you used to have to go 5 yards outside to actually throw the ball when they invented the forward pass in the 20s. After players, like, by the way, when football started, kids were dying. all over
yeah.
America.
Teddy
Kids were
Roosevelt saved football in America.
dude, he did. He did. The kids were dying left and right. And they're like, we need to add something. So they added the forward pass. It didn't quite take. Kids kept dying because they didn't fully go into it. Shout out Membu.
MIZ, baby.
Awesome. He's going to be good, man. Good for the Jets.
That's a good pick.
But yeah, like kids were dying left and right. So they invented the forward pass, but they couldn't really enforce. I think it happened in an early Super Bowl. They couldn't enforce whether the pass was actually 5 yards outside of the box. So then they put in the hashes because you had to throw the ball outside the hashes. And then the tailback and the quarterback actually started to become important. So we got Membu to the Jets. I think that's a great pick for them. It's just, he's awesome. He's awesome. There's him throwing Mykel to the ground. Actually, that was Mykel. Sorry.
You want to know who's going 8?
McMillan. That's grossly irresponsible.
Tell me about it. Literally, I gotta send some text. Talk about it.
Damn it, because the thing is, my hot take prediction was like Egbuka goes as the first wide receiver taken, but I was thinking, I just think he's the safest player.
Well, Ted McMillan doesn't make any sense. Listen, you can all say it's not T-Mac. I'm telling you right now, it's T-Mac. The person I'm talking to right now is looking at the system. It's in. It's T-Mac. Let's get a guy who can really only run 9 routes and get jump balls. Let's get him for a weak-armed quarterback.
You're right. Listen, he's sick. If your plan is to just throw back shoulders, but like really high back shoulders, and that's your entire offense, okay. I don't think that's a great offense. And I'm not saying, again, I had McMillan as my top wide receiver, and I didn't really like that I did that, but I wasn't sold on Golden either. And like Egbuka didn't have quite the ceiling I was looking for. But I don't know. McMillan's not really running routes out there. He's sick. His wingspan's insane.
This
gets real interesting.
That's where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out what New Orleans does.
Yeah, I would guess it's Mykel.
I think it's Mykel.
But I could also see them going like Walker. I could see them going Walker.
The Bears might want Walker. The Bears could use Walker.
Interesting. Very
I'm out now on Noah. I'm done. I'm done breaking news. I can't do this anymore, Jake.
You've got a family, man.
I got girls I got to raise.
Hashtag girl dad.
I hate it so much.
I mean, luckily you're not alone. It's others have said it's McMillan.
It's not. Yeah, like I wasn't concerned.
No, I know.
You know how we knew Ricky Pearsall like 10 minutes ahead of time last year?
Well, I wouldn't say it was 10. It was 10 minutes.
Okay,
but
sorry. You're right. That was hyperbole. It was at least 10 seconds though.
What happened was I went, I think it'd be interesting if they take Ricky Pearsall here. I kind of think, and then quickly Dieter gets a text. Which is to say, I put the pick in for Ricky Pearsall.
We've been drafting this whole time. Talk about grossly irresponsible.
Yeah.
I was telling a story earlier. So I'm in the car driving kid home from daycare. Hey, I got to watch football tonight. I got to work. If we call this work, I will write a column at some point. And then she goes, "Oh, are they playing football?" And I go, "Oh, no." And she goes, "Because I want to watch football with Daddy," which that's a thing in the house, right?
She likes watching football?
Well, she likes spending time with me, and about 90% of my existence between August and now is watching football. And She goes, "Oh, I want to watch football with Daddy." I go, "Oh, they're not. They're not. Are they playing football? No. So you're just gonna sit around?" What was the exact quote? She just said, "So you're just gonna sit?" Yeah.
I think that's the right response. You have a smart daughter who understands what's wrong with you. You're just gonna.
So you're just gonna sit, and I've never felt. It was a pretty sick burn. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's tough.
And frankly,
that's tough to come back from.
I was laughing really hard, but that is the draft. You're just gonna sit.
Yeah. But my recoiling to that to the take about like anti-draft, it's like so easy to be like, oh, the draft is dumb. Yes, it is, of course, obviously, because nothing's actually happening. But
there's a great Bill Burr line, right?
Yeah,
it's all going to be in the paper tomorrow,
right? What I like about the draft, for me, is as an actual sicko, I like finding out what teams' processes are. It informs me on how they view skill, talent, how they want to construct their roster, what matters to them. That's what's really interesting. And it's like, how much do they value those things? And what do they say immediately after? He was our guy all along. Or, sometimes like John Lynch will be like, actually, the corner we drafted isn't the one we drafted. We actually wanted the kid out of Stanford.
Yeah. This is okay. So McMillan's about to go. We're going to cut to some folks who look shocked.
A bunch of people they paid. A bunch of people they paid to be Panthers fans.
Your NFL fans of the year. I mean, yeah.
We flew them out here and gave them a $17 Chili's gift card.
I like how Jalen Milroe's there just to like pump dudes up.
Why is
good
he
for
there?
him? No, you know what? I like Jalen Milroe. I want him on my football team in some capacity.
I don't disagree. He's awesome. He should go in round 3, and you figure out, can he play football at quarterback? Well, he can play football. Is he a quarterback, or
I'll find
you just say get out there somewhere?
He just seems like a chill dude.
Yeah, who's like one of the most talented runners I've ever seen in my life.
He's unbelievable. And if he's a good quarterback, then you win. If not, like, hey, no problems.
Yeah.
No problems. A disastrous pick for Carolina, but that's what they do.
Yeah, I would not characterize it as a good one. I think that's probably my least favorite pick so far, even factoring in the Hunter selection, which is a lot to pay, again, for a guy who's going to probably play 1.5 positions.
Do you think that there's something to be said for Jacksonville consistently being a team on the financial razor's edge? As far as you can be that in the NFL. I mean, they play one game a year in a different country every year.
Right. The NFL's like, hey, we'll ship you out of the country because you're fine with it.
No, this is it's legit. It's their choice because they can't make enough. They can't take enough. I don't know who the Saints took. So Tony, if you're on top of it, and Tony seems to have been on top of it, respect. He's on Twitter. I'm not right now, but Tony, let us all know who they took if indeed that happened. I haven't gotten any text on it. Banks.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Banks to the Saints. Interesting. I'm going with Tony because Tony's actually kind of been right behind us here.
This has got, in fact, some cases in front. Awfully interesting. Maybe wait. So are we going to get Warren and then Mykel?
I have no idea what the Bears do. You know what? I take that back. The Bears might take Loveland. I don't really know what to do with that information. That's something that was mentioned earlier.
I really did not expect McMillan to go top 10. I
thought the slide was for real. I think the slide, actually, you know what? I can validate. The slide was for real for a lot of teams. It really was.
Yeah.
Like, there were a lot of teams that are like, I just don't like him. By the way, a couple teams, shout out to Jake. They loved your take on him.
He's like, he's just kind of out there as a jump ball guy. I didn't have a single player as like as a clear first round pick. I didn't have a single wide receiver as a clear first rounder. Him him and Burden and Golden are all like on the fringe. But like in terms of like, I would absolutely take them round one. Like Igbuka is like the safest, but I think he's a round 2 guy.
These might be famous last words. I really don't think that the Niners would take Warren.
I don't either.
There's no reason to think this Kittle thing is going to turn into anything of weight.
I also like the position is not. You're not getting enough extra value out of the cheap rookie contract by taking a tight end. The position itself is so much cheaper. Right.
You just got
But I'm just saying tight end, even if you pay top dollar, it's still relatively cheap compared to every other position. And it's a position that does it all. So you're like, on the open market, you're actually getting pretty good value in free agency.
As it pertains to the 32 game split on international revenue, the very important issues of the day, I believe that the Jags operate outside of that. I think that they host a game annually at that stadium, Tottenham Stadium. They host a game annually. I don't believe that's a true international series game.
I think you're right.
They've been doing it for a long time.
They send them over there for like 3-4 weeks in a row or something.
They're there for a while, and they do it every year.
Yeah. I can't wait till we have a Mexico City team, and then you just see guys like passing out on the field. Because people talk about Mile High, and it's like 4,000 feet higher than Denver.
They have a G League team in Mexico City. I talked to Juan Toscano Anderson, who played for them, about this a little bit, and it's going to be a real issue.
Yeah,
it's going to be a real issue.
It's insane.
I mean, it's a huge market. It has a lot more money. I mean, y'all can be racist. Mexico City's got a lot of money, and it could work, but it's very difficult. I mean, think about how difficult it is for like even Canadian teams in the NHL to sign players.
Yeah.
Right? Or the Toronto Raptors to get free agents in basketball. I mean, the Blue Jays, there's a little bit more of a connection between like the Dominican Republic and Canada. Like there's something going on there. But the Blue Jays have had trouble, and they spend a lot of money. They got Rogers Communications behind them. So the idea of Mexico or the idea of London, I mean, it might be a bridge too far. I don't think any league is willing to take on that risk, because once you're in, you can't pull out anytime soon. You have to give it a long time.
Also, a tough time to try and go international. Just saying.
Football diplomacy.
Just saying.
I do think they should bring back NFL Europe. What did the Bears do here?
Oh, yeah. What do the Bears do?
Because
my gut says tight end, or
my gut says tight end.
My gut says tight end.
I think it'll be Loveland, not Warren.
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously take Warren.
I think they should take Walker. That's what I think they should do, so that the Niners can then take Nolan and leave Mykel on the table and make me look like an ass. That's what they should do.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
This has gotten awfully interesting. Pick is in. What do we got here?
The Years. The Years are in. Yep. So they ran it in. They need a tight end. Give your quarterback a safety blanket.
And it is Colston Loveland.
No way.
Yeah. That's correct. Look at Dieter today, folks.
Good source.
So the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock with Mykel Williams and Walter Nolan and I guess theoretically Shamar Stewart. And Dieter, what would you do here? I'm
gonna wait on a text.
I'm gonna try not to lose it if it is Shamar Stewart. But I think that would.
I mean, it's that. Sorry, like I don't mean to speak in such extremes.
I think they are smarter than that.
I don't. There's no indication at all that they value Stewart over Mykel.
I do think if it's either way, we're getting a ear-to-ear grin on John Lynch's face after this pick. Because this has fallen pretty sweet.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
You know how I kept saying that I'm not doing
I know, because it's one of those things where you're like, I'm not doing this, and I can see that you're going to.
Yeah, I get a text. I get a text at 8:00 about Colston Loveland to the Bears, and it's like,
yeah. Are they releasing the NFL schedule in the middle of this draft?
Really? That'd be great. I'd like to know.
That's how they should do it.
I really should have figured out more vamping. I mean, there's nothing to say. He's the number one player on my board.
Yeah.
Not once the draft started and who's best of it. He was the number one player on my board. Now, I said, wow, they are releasing the schedule in the middle of this goddamn draft.
Dieter.
Yeah.
Guess who it is?
You tell me.
It's Mykel. It's Mykel Williams. According to Schultz report, 49ers are taking Mykel Williams, which I will say.
Give me a second, Jake.
Dieter's going to go rub one out, folks. I will say, I think Dieter's fist pumping in the corner or picking up his small child and running around the house. Either one of which I think is a reasonable response. Again, for those of you who do not have the draft guide, I had Mykel Williams number 2 on my board. Dieter had Mykel Williams number 1. So when we meet him, can at least show him that. That'll be nice. I think for anyone who has concerns about the production, I get it. But you watched the way you literally have champagne. That's way funnier.
We got I don't think this is very good champagne, is it? Unbelievable. Fantastic.
Incredible.
Listen, confirmation bias pays off, folks. Let me tell you.
Yep, I am going to share the screenshot on the internet for those of you who have missed the Mykel Williams breakdown, because listen, and again, it's like kind of a bit at this point, but like really, he's just a goddamn awesome player. Like he's a guy who can set, like let's say worst case scenario, right, is that he doesn't figure out like a detailed pass rush arsenal. He swipes, he gets a little too vertical, he doesn't develop it, right? At minimum, he's an outrageously good edge setter who can play kind of everywhere across the line of scrimmage, who's going to set it for you in the run game, who's going to be able to collapse the pocket with power. That's it minimum, and that's to say like him at 20 years old being an elite freak athlete as if he's not going to develop at all. That's the floor, I think, for Mykel Williams. So to sum it up, great fucking pick. Great fucking
Good job, everybody. Another banner year over here. That's pretty good. Yes, that's the right pick. By the way, they're doing sorry to totally spoil the moment. The texts are out of control.
Really?
I know it's not come through or anything. I know that was Schultz reported. It's in the system now. It's Mykel. They're honoring Steve Mongo McMichael right now with for the Bears. He died, I believe, yesterday. Mongo is one of the all-time great guys. I am forever indebted to Mongo. Yeah, Mongo's the best. So this is also for Mongo. I worked with him in Chicago for a while, and I'm going to miss him immensely. He hasn't really been with us for a while in a lot of ways, but sorry to totally bum this out. This should be the thing, but yeah, this was Mongo's the man. Mongo's the man. Mykel Williams is the right pick, folks. I cannot believe that Colston Loveland pick, by the way. Bold. Here's what Mykel brings. You've already laid it out. We've laid it out for weeks. We've been arguing about it. Not arguing about it. We've been preaching the gospel for weeks. He's exactly what you need right now. He is exactly what this team needs right now. couldn't have worked out any better.
I'm shocked he's there. I'm shocked he was there, quite honestly.
Yeah. The ankle concerns, I think, are completely overblown. Like, he played through it last year. He never allowed his high ankle sprain to get 100%. He didn't do a lot of pro day stuff or anything, and maybe that's why we were on him a little bit more than others, because pro days do matter to some people. Sorry, the champagne's coming up.
The champagne's hitting so hard.
Kind of. I'm going to have a bright red face. For a white guy, I get some pretty bad Asian glow. And it is, it's a perfect pick. It's a perfect pick. It's an A+ pick.
Yeah. I think it's outstanding. I talked about it. The upside is immediate and long term, because the floor is genuinely, in my opinion, so high for him. Some people can disagree. I think you're wrong. You can disagree with me. That's what's great about this thing.
The beauty of this too is it does not matter what we said before. Now it is all about, does he do it or not? Right? We could very well be wrong on Mykel Williams.
Absolutely.
But we're riding with the 49ers on this one. And listen, the Niners do a very good job of keeping things under wraps.
Yeah.
Or at least not giving, not showing their hand as easily. But I'd like to shout out everybody who is both tertially and directly related with the 49ers who reached out to me in recent days, being like, "You're not insane." Thank you. That really actually helped, because I was losing my mind here for a minute.
No,
goddamn.
I think people, when you see two prospects who are on paper sort of similar with him and Stewart, you go, well, they're the same. And then people go, well, watch the tape. Stewart's really good. And that's not true. It's not. Mykel, again, I feel like a broken record, but what you're getting with him is a monstrous athlete who's going to set the edge from day one, who can slot in at 4 sometimes even 3. He can rush from a variety of different places. He's got a long arm that he can punch in your chest, and he's got really quick hands on just a swipe move. And also, you get to learn from Nick Bosa, who has probably the best swipe move in the NFL. He learned it at Ohio State. He's had it his whole career. It's a great place to learn. You get to just simplify your game and just be aggressive, powerful. He has all the traits. Again, the production is limited. He was playing on one ankle and was still goddamn amazing. So I know we have been talking about him incessantly if you've been following the channel.
He's our guy.
Yeah, I just think he's a goddamn awesome player.
We willed this into existence, Jake. Just let us run.
I think we did.
By the way, we didn't. Did we hammer this point home after the Lynch presser or in the subsequent podcast, where it's at some point production has to matter,
right?
And so Shamar Stewart was never in play here.
I don't think so. Well, he's not a good football player, and he plays blind. I'm sorry, but that's the thing is that was the comparison, right? You got two players with limited production. Mykel, by the way, actually had substantially better production and doesn't miss every goddamn tackle like Shamar Stewart, who literally misses 27% of his tackles, or it's around that range. It's something crazy.
Yeah.
And he plays absolutely blind. So I'm not going to begrudge anybody for betting on his traits and saying, we've got a great defensive line coach, we can teach him. Sure, maybe. But between those two, I don't think there's any comparison. I think Mykel's substantially the better player. And again, time will tell. We might look like fools. The 49ers could look like fools. But I think it's hard to look like a fool for betting on a guy who's 6'5", 270, and collapses the pocket just with power on a goddamn bad ankle. It's a pretty good bet in my view.
All he did was win. I mean, Jake, you remember the Tennessee game?
Oh, yeah.
He won off the line so hard, Tennessee's left tackle just wrapped him around the waist. He still couldn't bring him down.
Awesome play where he literally couldn't tackle him.
Did I tell you about my favorite parlor game with Mykel Williams? I would pick a random game, pick 3 random plays, just anywhere. I'd just scroll to a random play and watch him win.
Right. And listen, the consistency in terms of his pass rush arsenal leaves plenty to be desired. But it's a pretty good place to go, and it's also again not as bad as it's made out to be. I think it's the placement
in the
and the
backfield.
yeah. He's got a swipe. He can rip underneath your arms, and if you let him underneath your arms, he's gonna drive through you, and he can also just power you and bully you straight in the pocket. Sorry, was that Tony Allen? Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry, I don't think we're watching the same thing. I have the ABC feed on.
Oh, it was cutting to Shedeur Sanders, who I think is hanging out with Tony Allen. Maybe not.
First team all defense, Tony Allen?
Yeah. Greatest storyteller of all time. Yeah.
Huh.
Also, a comparison, Willie McGinnis and a T-Rex, but with long arms, were my comparisons for Mykel Williams.
It is yeah, I don't have anything more to say about him.
It's
he was
unfortunate.
the number one player on my board. They got him at 11. This is a triumph for John Lynch. At a position of need. You got the best player at a position of need at number 11. Like, there's no bigger win in the history of John Lynch's tenure. Even Bosa at 2, like, he had to get lucky for that. I guess they got lucky here too.
Yeah. I mean, and there's like a lot of edge rushers I like in this draft, but I do think Mykel is like head and shoulders above them in terms of what he offers immediately. Like Femi Oladejo can be an awesome player. I think he's got a ways to go. Far less of a immediate finished product. I think when you look at defensive tackle, you got the next 2 rounds, and you're gonna find at least one good one. And if they were to take 2 in round 3 and 4, would not begrudge them at all. I think that's the sweet spot. I think that's absolutely the sweet spot for him. Yeah, I mean, what an awesome pick. We kept mocking it. I changed up my mock just because I was like, well, he'll be gone at this point. But yeah,
listen, and if Mykel wasn't here, it would have been Nolan.
I agree.
But he was, and they took him. And again, shout out to all the 49ers people who are like, no, yeah, you're right. He's really fucking good. Huge win for the channel. Huge win for the 49ers. We ride Mykel Williams. Where does Jalen Walker go? Because he's another player that I legit love. And
yeah,
this is, first off, Mykel Williams, very nice house in Atlanta.
Yeah. People were saying he looks like baby Chris Jones.
Wow, he does. He does look like what? I have not spent a lot of time with the mugshot. He looks exactly like Chris Jones.
Right?
You gotta love that.
Sick.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm excited for everyone to get to watch these highlights that ESPN's about to play.
Can't wait to talk to Larry.
I know
tomorrow.
this play. This play's hilarious. Pow! Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Hell yeah! God, he's awesome. So awesome. There's so many football players that like get me amped up. This is something that we need to celebrate more and be more open about. We try to Benali coming through saying Jordan Schultz, I guess friend of the program now. They were trying to trade up for Mykel, but got their guy at 9. What was I saying? That they were trying to get above the Saints at 9.
It's almost like he's a fucking awesome player, man.
Yeah, I know he is.
And it's like
champagne was a bad choice.
That's so. You're just gonna have the worst headache in the entire world tomorrow.
It's really. I don't know. What's Glort?
Tyler Booker to the Cowboys.
To the Cowboys. Jerry, you dog.
Interesting. Explored trading up, but ultimately stayed put. I mean, I
had heard that. That is a bad pick by the Cowboys, baby. Is that because they're like, Zach Martin retired, so we need Zach Martin again? He's not Zach Martin.
Jerry goes, we need a dog. We gotta get
He was hoping.
We gotta get a dog. I don't know.
It's not Krugspur. I don't know what this has literally been in the fridge forever. I couldn't tell you what it is. Gloria Ferrer. It doesn't seem like it's very high.
I went to Corbel, which is like the cheapest champagne you can get. It was awesome. Yep. We walked in. They're like, we'll see if we can fit you in, and it's like cafeteria style seating. And the guy has like a Sonic the Hedgehog watch, and he's like, I'll see if I can slip you in here. I'm like, there's not a soul here, buddy.
Where is Corbel?
If you go north about an hour and a half of the city,
From where we live?
Yeah, I would say so. It's what town? Somethingburg?
No,
Not
yeah, I mean
Healdsburg, but something like that.
Harrodsburg, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like
This
that.
is Sonoma County vaguely.
Yeah, I don't think Tyler Booker is a good selection.
Sonoma.
Booker has his athleticism is a major concern, and
he's got crazy
a guard.
punch. He's got crazy punch.
He wants to
like
finish. He's super aggressive, super athletic. I like him. Him at 12. I think he should literally go in the same slot a round later. I think it's an incredibly early selection for a guard. So, but the tackles came off quick.
What was that?
Tackles came off quick for the most part. I'm very interested. Jalen Milroe, that a boy. What an incredible hype man. Just such good energy. Yeah, I am interested more than anything where Warren goes and where Josh Simmons goes.
I will say that Tyler Booker has like a Metallica like chain, and that's worth going up one spot on the 150. That's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not a chain guy, but like I respect.
I like him, but he is.
I would have loved him at 25.
Yeah, really worrying athleticism, and he's a guard at 12, and I don't think he's like a Quentin Nelson type where you're like, okay, I'll take a guard top 15. I mean, comparing anyone to Quentin Nelson is insane, but.
And by the way, there's a lot of variety on guard. I think guard is probably the most. There's a lot of subjectivity on guard in general. There's a lot of scheme specifics as it goes into a guard. This is just Booker's a good player. He shouldn't go 12. You can get what he does later. Or you should.
Agreed.
Which then this creates a very fascinating scenario with the Dolphins. And by the way, I just want to make everything clear. I'm going to get too drunk too fast, so we're not going to be able to make it to all 32.
Right.
13. I want to get until we get another major trade, which I expect at 15. 13 and 14 are a weird spot now. Because
very weird. I would bet Warren at 14 if I had to guess. Because Indy could really use a tight end, and Warren's like a perfect fit there. They don't need Jalen Walker. I mean, maybe you could make the argument.
Warren to the Dolphins is fun, but they do have Jonnu.
Yeah, I don't think
you can upgrade over Jonnu. You don't.
Him to Indy makes the most sense to me.
Who?
Warren to Indianapolis. No, you don't think so? They don't like him? Wow. It's bizarre that Loveland.
They might still do that, but they preferred. I think they preferred Loveland.
I don't understand it. Yeah.
Jackie D asking who the Colts quarterback is. That would be Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones.
Or get frisky with it.
Sam Ehlinger.
Trade down and go get. Maybe they go with Jackson Dart in like round 2 or something. Yeah, this is an awfully interesting setup.
I do not know what goes down here. If Walker keeps falling, Arizona, I don't know who's going to be a 15. I imagine I'm frazzled.
Frazzled, downright bamboozled? Would you say you're possibly bamboozled?
I just think I haven't generally drank in a couple of weeks, if not months.
Yeah.
And, this is we're getting loose. So
kind of love it.
We're having fun.
Yeah, there's a
quote.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Don't read what he said out loud. Walker. Here's a guy. I do not know where Walker goes, and this does not feel fair to him. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Arizona can take him after what was the name of the Clemson linebacker that they took?
Isaiah Simmons.
The Simmons of it all.
Yeah, they're just too scarred by that. I could see that. Yeah, I really don't know. I guess Will Johnson's out there. I don't know if he's even the first corner off the board. It would be interesting though if corner the run starts late and the 49ers can make a play for Trey Amos. I don't think he's going to be there. I think that the Bills and Packers, that run is going to go, but Ravel could also go early and it could be him. I think both those teams need corners badly and aren't going to be in good spots to get them.
Okay, so I know that Tampa is all over Barron, but they don't expect to get him, and they're not going to trade up because they don't really have the ammunition.
Right.
Shouldn't speak in absolutes, but
keep an eye on the like Atlanta, needing to trade back because they'll
trade down.
No assets in the middle.
Yeah,
that could get interesting. Barron's still there, Warren,
and there's a next to 0% chance that the Vikings pick at 24. But
right, because the Vikings I think have they're in the 80s or something after 21.
The Vikings have like 4 picks.
Yeah.
So they need to diversify the portfolio a little bit.
So you still got Walker, Warren, Barron.
Well,
after that, I'm pretty much out of first rounders. Those are the last actual first round picks I've got.
Okay, Jalen Walker, Warren, Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, Derek Harmon. Nolan is still around.
Yeah, Derek Harmon's
People
still
like
there.
Jihad Campbell in some circumstances. Amari and Hampton to the Broncos. That won't quit.
I think it would be Henderson. I think it would be Travion Henderson.
I don't think that's accurate, but I think that would be the right pick. I don't think we quite foresaw how weird this could get with Warren falling. Yeah,
here's the thing. I expected this draft to get weird, but he wasn't someone that I thought would sort of fall out of that slot. I knew some teams favored Loveland. I kind of didn't expect it to play out that way, though. Even knowing that was a possibility, I still thought, all right, well, Warren is clearly the better player. Don't agree. What do we got here?
A lot of teams did not like. So I think Miami and Warren makes a lot of sense on the basis of. I think a lot of teams saw what Warren couldn't do and got very concerned. They don't love.
Do you want to know what the next 2 picks are?
I would love to.
Per Jordan Schultz, Kenneth Grant.
Who's been on it?
To the Dolphins. Who could be awesome. Could also be terrible. Right? Interesting that Walter Nolan's going to go after him. Each team has their own priorities.
I'll say this. I would expect the Colts to take Walker then.
They're not. They're taking Tyler Warren.
They took Warren?
Yep.
That's so weird. Okay. I'm going to just send
they needed
funny
a
text messages back.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a no man's land of a situation in this draft? 13 and 14 right there?
Yeah.
That is a...
It's gotten weird.
Kenneth Grant being filmed on a Nokia phone here.
Awesome. I would have for sure taken... if I was them, I would have taken either Nolan or I would have taken Harmon. I've got both of them head and shoulders above Grant. But Grant,
Dolphins... If I'm the Dolphins, I'm taking Warren there because you have Mike McDaniel as your head coach. If he can't figure out ways to utilize, if James fucking Franklin can figure it out,
you
think that our man Mike can?
Yeah,
does Mike want to come home? That's what's happening here.
I would have loved to see. There are some is everything okay with the Dolphins and McDaniel? This is a shaky year for him. Tua has put them in a tough spot. Again, when you see the upside with Grant, it's awesome, right? When you watch the tape that they're going to give you all the best clips, he looks like the best defensive tackle in the class, right? And then there's some times where you see him get washed out in the run game and look like he's never played football. And that's like, which player are you going to get? Or are you going to get a little bit of both and then you just get Javon Kinlaw, right? So that's sort of the question. He is incredibly like strong. If you're going to play him more as like a nose, I kind of like it. I don't know. He's not my guy. I could see it working.
It's a boomer bust proposition for a team that can't afford boomer bust. Henry N, because that would make sense. Why isn't the center panel something like a useful curated Twitter list? Because that would have been smart.
Shout out Muggs. Shout out Muggs in the comments.
Shout out Muggs. Holler Muggs. Charvarius Ward went 1 overall. No, sorry. That would be. So
John Lynch is actually he's the only one. He's who's our top sicko?
Goat Lord.
Goat Lord. That's actually John Lynch. He is the top sicko. He's subscribed to the channel. Larry's crashing out, according to the kids.
Don't need to know. That has nothing to do with us. We're here with our friends.
We'll talk to Larry tomorrow.
We'll talk to Larry tomorrow.
Listen, again.
If I didn't have young children in this house, there would be a cigar lit. Let me tell you.
Again, none of these guys have played a snap, right? So, like, we're victory lapping a little bit only because this was our evaluation and we didn't think he would be there. And I think he's a damn good player. And he could turn out not to be, as could all of these guys, right? That's you have to wait until something happens. But in terms of, like, our evaluation, first player on your board, pretty good spot to find him.
It's a huge win.
He also, I'm not going to get into it. We'll talk.
No, bring it on.
We just kept bringing up the production, and like Shamar Stewart had so much worse production. Like, what?
Shamar Stewart sucks.
He's not a good player, man. Like, he could turn out to be, but my God.
And to be fair, Real Deal's saying that Larry wanted Jalen Walker. I hate that like it's us versus Larry now, but he was wrong, and we told him.
I love Larry.
Sorry,
but
we love Larry. We love Larry. We love going on his stream. It's fun. We're having fun. But he wanted Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker would have been a good pick in my book because I really like Jalen Walker. But you cannot pass up somebody a position of need to bring in somebody who I don't know if he fits. I'm personally willing to figure out a way to make Jalen Walker work, but not if I can get Mykel Williams.
Right.
If Mykel Williams wasn't there, right, and you were left with, I don't know what that example would have been. Maybe Williams goes at 10.
Yeah,
right?
and so you got like Walker and Warren.
Yeah. In that case, I go.
I would try and
Nolan.
Trade down and go get Nolan.
I think they would have just taken Nolan at 11. Every indication that I had was that they were taking someone at 11.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Also, I love how in all these clips, Tyler Warren's like taking the worst shot you've ever seen.
Just absolute spleen busters. Who is the most underrated player available on the board right now? Asks the good Lord Yeast Priest. It's unquestionably for me, Jahdae Barron.
Ooh, yeah. I would say in terms of underrated players, I don't know if Jade's underrated, but the fact that he's falling, I guess, would suggest that he's underrated. Yeah, I'll say Jahdae too. But the other one I would throw in is honestly Nolan, because like he's like 28 on Daniel Jeremiah's board, and who knows where he goes. But yeah, I would say if you're going to say Barron, I'll take Walter Nolan, and then Harmon would be right after him. Shout out.
Atlanta going to move off this pick. Atlanta going to move off this pick. They should probably.
They should definitely move off this pick. I'm not sure if they will. Do you want me to check the internet, the spheres of online, or do you want to just let it happen?
I don't know.
I think if I'm Atlanta, I'm trading down.
I didn't know what to do with being
decent.
right.
I know it happened, and I didn't expect it to go that way. I expected to be talking about Walter Nolan, or
which we would have been fine with.
Maybe Derek Harmon, and then we would have had some dialogue there. I was a little worried for the briefest of moments about Kelvin Banks, but luckily we avoided that.
You
just not my
sent
guy.
me a thing. He's like, I need to prepare something on Kelvin Banks.
I didn't.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to.
Because I'm like, no, you don't. He's a plotter.
Yeah. Yeah. Like an athletic guy who's also like, yeah.
You vamp for a minute. Daddy's got to use the facilities.
Okay.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Enjoy it in there. All right, folks. We're at Atlanta. I'm looking at the board here. If I'm Atlanta, all right. You got a sort of an interesting spot. Jalen Walker's fallen to you. Do you just say, all right, Jalen Walker is clearly the best player available? Or do you say, we're kind of fucked on picks. We're going to trade down, trade back, right? You know, sort of a philosophical question, if you will. If I'm Atlanta, I'm either trading back. You could also take Barron, who's just like an awesome corner, awesome safety. Let's see who else we got. Shout out Yeast Priest. Larry's complaining about Stewart versus Williams. If I'm Atlanta, I'm drafting Shedeur Sanders. I don't agree. Shout out my boy. Should have read who wrote that comment first. Love the Williams pick. Yeah, I think Atlanta needs to trade down. God. Yeah, I think Atlanta needs to trade down here. And I would hope that they do for their sake, because it's like they got picked at 46 or something, and then after that, it's like nothing for a while. Let's see. Let's see if our boy Jordan Schultz, I wouldn't call him my boy. Nothing yet. So we're still waiting on Atlanta. I think they need to trade down.
The fact that we don't have any news on Atlanta gives me it feels as if the trade's been made and it just has to get worked through.
Yeah, I think they're trying to trade down, and teams are trying to, say, hey, we don't actually want to give you that much for the pick. And they're like, well, we will kind of take anything at this point.
Yeah. Okay. If Atlanta's here, who would you take? I would just take Walker and never.
That's what I was saying while you were.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Painting the walls red in the bathroom. It's okay. No?
I called the doctor. They said it's fine.
He's got the worst hemorrhoids I've ever seen. Yeah, if I was Atlanta, I'm taking Jalen Walker. You could make a case for Jahdae Barron, although they've got a pretty awesome corner right there. Yeah, I think you have to trade down, and then whatever happens. We're getting to the point where like the actual clear-cut first-round talent is limited. To me, the only clear first-rounders, I have Jalen Walker on my board.
Mm-hmm.
I have Derek Harmon. I have Walter Nolan, and that's.
I don't have Harmon as a
and Josh
Simmons
rounder. And Josh Simmons.
But we knew that Simmons was not going to find himself.
If he falls to the Chiefs, that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck because that could really happen. Like he's the best tackle in this class. It's just, does he have a functioning knee or not? Which I suppose is an important factor in being an NFL football player, is whether your knees function.
Yeah, they're very concerned about the knees. Will Johnson put up some incredible tape together. They're very concerned about the injury. And I think they have every right to be. It will be interesting to see where Johnson goes. It'll be interesting to see, we talk a lot about what's up.
Sorry, I was checking Twitter, and there's just like ads. There's like someone showing their feet. Twitter's an awful place. Twitter is a truly terrible place.
Don't be making fun of feet content here.
By the way, little stat from Nick Wagoner. 30% of Mykel's snaps came at 4-eye last year.
Yes, he did. I mean, I couldn't have told you 30, but a blank ton did.
Yep.
And you know what happened? He just kept winning them. So here's one of the things that I want to note about Mykel Williams. Sorry, 4-eye means a defensive tackle, Scott, to be specific.
Yep.
There are 4-eye means you're lined up off of the right guard shoulder,
or is it straight up?
That.
Yeah.
No. The Niners run a 1, 3, 5, and 9 technique. A beautiful thing about these techniques is they don't make any sense numerically.
No, it's insane.
So a 5 technique is effectively 7 technique. If you were to think about 9 being all the way out there, 7 being off of tackle.
It's like how many extra feet are you hanging out off the line?
Again with the feet. So it is. Oh, wow. Yeast Priest with an accurate call on Field Yates's hair. He missed it. He just missed the window. We love Field Yates. Field Yates does a very good job. By the way,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to go in on Field Yates for a second.
Oh, no.
Okay. No. It's from a place of love, I assure you. So
By
Field
the way,
Yates,
real quick,
Yeah.
4-eye is inside shoulder of the guard.
so effectively 3 technique.
Yeah. Basically. Okay. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I enjoy a good Field Yates. I did not take in a lot of I didn't take in really any external draft content via podcast or video or things like that. We had our own shit going on. But I did at one point have an afternoon where I had nothing going on, which is a rarity in the Kurtenbach household.
Right.
And I'm on the YouTubes, and it was the first draft, I believe, is it? Mike Greenberg hosts it. And it's like, dude, what kind of a contract do you have? And it's Mel Kiper Jr. and Field Yates, who is the new Todd McShay. For all, shout out to all you people who remember that back in the day. And they're talking about defensive ends. And Field Yates, this was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Time is an abstract concept to me. This is 2 months ago, and he goes, and this is the first other person I heard say something like to the level of positivity that I had been pushing. He goes, oh, I can very easily see a world in which 5 years Mykel Williams was considered the best edge rusher in this class, like over Abdul Carter.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, thank God. Another, finally, like the tide is turning and we're not alone on Mykel Island and all this. And then people just stopped doing that. And then I see Field Yates the other day just kind of shitting on Mykel Williams. And I'm like, where is the guy from 2 months ago? I know that, new information, new stuff, but like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Field? Get a haircut. Get a haircut, you hippie.
I also need a haircut. That looked like a very clear, like Terry Fontenot, right? He's the Atlanta GM. That was a conversation that looked like, listen, we love the kid. It's okay. We love the kid.
Don't overthink it.
That was the conversation where they tried to trade down.
Yep.
I'm guessing. Tried to trade down, couldn't get the value. Teams were trying to, shortchange him, which I would in this draft.
Absolutely.
I would. That's why I predicted some.
Do you really want a
tweener
linebacker? Do you really?
Right. Totally. Where you're just trying to Nico Harrison. I mean, you're like, you have to make a pick with us. You have to do it with us, and you have to do it now because no one's going to give you value. You gotta pull the trigger right here.
Was Nico Harrison? Does he have some sort of situation going on where like he's in with the mob? Like it's really the only explanation.
Yeah, Will Campbell's coming for him with a Tommy gun. That fit is crazy. I respected the attempt, but man,
he went for it. But no, I mean, Jalen Walker already had the right color tuxedo. I mean, this is great.
Sorry, it was a see ass fit.
Yeah, listen here. Yeah. Driving crooner energy.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta learn to make money off of this. Yeah, no, it was. He looks like a background actor in The Sting. Regardless, no, nothing. Robert Redford classic.
No, Sting's fantastic. Sorry,
okay.
Sting's a fantastic movie.
Okay,
Caroline recommended that one to me. Great rec, outstanding film. Also, shout out Bullet, San Francisco classic. There's like one shot in Bullet where they just replay the same shot that they took because they're like, this is so sick. I'm like, is this instant replay in a movie? It's awesome. San Francisco looks insane.
It does. Bad San Francisco movie, The Conversation with Gene Hackman, R.I.P. I first moved to San Francisco. Me and my dad are just like hanging out. We like didn't know what to do. It's like, oh, we should watch a San Francisco movie. So we find The Conversation, and oh boy, at the end of it, we're like, that's a classic. That was boring. By the way, Ben E2, Dieter's drinking Natural Light. There was a time,
I'm drinking whatever this is, Captain Save-A-Hop from Full Circle Brewing in Fremont, Fresno. Sorry,
you called it Fresno earlier.
It is Fresno. Sorry.
Where do you get something like that?
Trader Joe's, which is apparently, economy proof. What a place.
Big fan. Big fan of the Joes. One of the reasons I live on the island.
What is Arizona doing here? I've totally lost the plot with the rest of this draft. It's like we got it, the Mykel pick just totally threw us off our game here.
It's I don't know what Arizona does. I'll say this about Arizona though, they have drafted exceptionally well in recent years. I wouldn't be shocked if it was Walter Nolan.
That's a great call. That's coming off of nothing. I haven't picked up my phone in like 2 minutes. Yeast Priest, who would you like to see the Seattle Seahawks draft?
Shadir Sanders. Actually, I take that back. I like Shadir Sanders.
Yeah,
are we talking from
Jahdae Barron's still there?
Oh, Barron.
They
don't really do that anymore.
You know who I would guess for them?
Who?
Harmon. Like get another sick defensive tackle to pair.
I'd like that for the Niners. Oh, here's Jahdae Barron.
Jahdae Barron to Arizona?
Well, that's what ESPN is opining here with cameras. Jahdae Barron has a tremendous amount of people in his living room right now.
Still nothing yet.
Yeah, nothing yet. Interesting. Jahdae Barron to the Cardinals would be... Jahdae Barron and Budda Baker on the same defense would be problematic. Walter Nolan, 16.
Yeah. That's a great pick. That's just going to work for him. That'll work.
I tell you.
Yeah, and also, like, you're stuck in the desert with a cheap owner. Come on, you're going to come to play. Like, in terms of the other concerns.
Yes.
Yeah, gotta go to work, pal. Gotta go to work.
And by the way, you hope you save some of that NIL money because you're paying for your own lunch.
Cheapest owner in the league, folks.
His old man was cheap. His old man was cheap. Yeah. Nolan, 16, Arizona.
Yeah, it's a
good
pick for him.
We might have had something to do with that. So I'm fascinated to see what the Rams do in the third round. Just throwing that out there. We'll find out tomorrow.
Haven't there been
rumblings? Do they even have a third round pick?
Haven't they been trying to get up? Isn't that the word on the street?
Aren't we all
been trying to move up? Let's see.
I want to put my kids to sleep, so let's do this for another 10 minutes.
We'll get through. Yeah, we'll get through Seattle, and I gotta see if Travion goes to the Broncos at 20.
Yeah.
What do the Bengals do here? Bengals are a weird team. Like they're prone to making a pick that you go, what on earth was that? But they also have.
You know what the Bengals are going to do, right? Shamar Stewart.
Oh, that's a great call. That's a great call. And then I'm telling you, the run on corners just has not happened. The Niners.
We talked about this yesterday. This is really laying out for the Niners well.
Especially if Travion goes and then somebody goes for like Judkins and Hampton and the receivers go. Yeah, are they showing Shamar?
No,
they're showing
no,
Nolan.
That's still Barron.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's
still Nolan.
Nolan's so goddamn good.
Okay, so Bengals I think are going defensive end. Seahawks is really tricky.
I feel like they're a true BPA team. Maybe that's inaccurate.
The gentleman currently at Walter Nolan's house who's wearing the yellow flannel appears to have been shot in that flannel. It has very large blood stains on the flannel. That's cool. And that's what the teams were talking about. The guy's like live streaming himself as his buddy gets drafted. Not your moment, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You're on fire tonight, Yeast Priest.
He's an absolute legend.
Absolute legend. Okay.
Woodrow Gravy, meet Yeast Priest.
Legends. Bengals. Go ahead. I think they have to go defensive end for because their defense was awful. They have to go defense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Their offensive line was also bad.
Seattle's a team that doesn't mind character issues. If we're talking about Mike Green,
I don't know if they need a pass rusher as much as people think they need a pass rusher. You know what they do need is a safety. Except, Nick, how about this? Here are my bets. I'm just going to play them out there. Haven't picked up my phone in a minute. I'm going to go with who is a defensive end? I'm going defensive end. I'm going Mike Green at 17 for the Bengals. And I'm going Nick Emanwari to Seattle at 18.
I like it.
I'm going Jahdae Barron to Tampa at 19. Omari and Hampton at 20.
Okay. I will be with you on Nick Emanwari to the Hawks. I'll go Stewart at 17. Who'd you say at 19?
Stewart at 17 to the Bengals. You're right. Stewart at 17. That shout out to Gloria Ferrer for the Mike Green pick there.
I'll go Stewart, Emanwari. You said Barron?
Barron at 19, I feel very confident.
And then I have to take Travion at 20.
I think it's Omari and Hampton, but I guess we're going to find out. And then y'all can have fun with whatever the Steelers do at 21, because I'm out.
Yeah, Dieter has children, and
not just that. We got other stuff we got to do. We got kids we got to put down. I went to the bathroom. My wife looked at me. He's like, help. Meanwhile, I'm drinking on a live stream. This is not adult behavior.
And tomorrow we'll be back.
Tomorrow
quite a bit.
Do the shit all over again.
We got to do this. We're doing this for the second round and third round, and then we're going on with Larry. I don't know what the plan is on Saturday. Probably gonna skip that.
Saturday, I'm gonna be Sunday, hiding in a corner of Chase Center, being like,
"Yeah,
I don't think that was good value in the fifth."
We might have to rendezvous on Monday after that.
Well, we most certainly will rendezvous on Monday. Goat Lord, shout out. We are contractually obligated to shout you out. We shouted you out early. We shout you out again.
That's right.
Goat Lord.
Yeah, this could not have gone better for the Niners. I think Walter Nolan is unfortunate for them. They're probably mad at the Miami Dolphins. Shanahan's going to give McDaniel a call and go, "What are you guys doing? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you take Walter Nolan off their hands?" Now we got to deal with him.
A lot of sense for.
Yeah,
a lot of guys would have made a lot of sense for the Dolphins. They're just not very good.
Yep. I still can't believe Mykel fell to the Niners at 11. I mean, I can believe it. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't 8 or 9.
I had it on decent authority that it was going to happen. Okay. That the Niners. Fine. Okay, Bengals. Do we have an answer on Bengals?
Let's see here. Shamar Stewart. Yep. Shamar Stewart. You know what's awesome about Shamar Stewart? No one ever mentions what he's done on the field. They're like, this guy's athletic.
He could be.
He could be awesome. He absolutely could be awesome. Do I think he will be?
It's a stretch at 17, but a marginal stretch. It would have been a laughable stretch at 11.
It makes a lot more sense at 17. Again, it's a bet on elite athleticism, which, again, you can only fault a team so much for doing that, especially in a draft that's
inside. Especially
a team that's lacking, or a draft that's lacking clear blue chip talent, and he is a blue chip athlete. I just hate his tape. That's what it comes down to.
I'm not
impressed.
We don't like him. Cool chain, cool suit.
Yeah.
Modeled his game after J.J. Watt. Didn't do a very good job there, buddy.
Interesting.
By the way, Blitzkrieg saying Shadur Sanders to the Rams. There is some crazy betting action on the Rams taking a quarterback in the first round. Crazy.
Interesting. Who do you think? Do you think it would be Shador?
I do.
That'd be fun. I would love to see
Dart. You think that Sean McVay would put up with the Jackson Dart bullshit that we've been talking about for 3 months?
No, but I wonder, like, would they like Shug? You know, or Shuck? Shuck. I'm gonna call him Shug forever, and I apologize. To
Shamar
Bob,
Stewart
but
just Shamar Stewart, I believe, just got blocked by Roger Goodell. I think Roger Goodell held anchor there, and Shamar Stewart did not get into the backfield. It must have
not
been
a
really
good highlight.
It must have been really hard to look at. Oh
Yeah.
wow, look at him kick UTSA's ass.
Listen,
Here he is against the Gators.
I have nothing against the kid. Hope
You know
he
what? I
does
personally
well.
don't like him. He's not a good player.
I don't disagree.
I just love that Goodell held anchor there. That was great. Couldn't even bring down Goodell. By the way, Goodell just giving up. The senator giving up on dress shoes. Wearing. Yeah, listen, I wore Nikes to my wedding like some loser. But
do you think Goodell likes doing this?
No,
at this point, I was gonna say he's
actually
every year.
I'll say this.
I think
Roger
he probably
Goodell.
does. Yeah.
Oh my God, are they legitimately comparing Myles Garrett and Shamar Stewart on the television screens right now?
That's tough. It's a tough one.
Good luck to you. Unbelievable. Yeah. Emanwari, Seahawks.
They love athletes.
Mike McDonald, put him anywhere you want. I think it'd be a win for the Niners. I'm not an Emanwari fan.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think Emanwari, if he was going to go anywhere, like if I would trust any defensive coordinator to figure him out, I would love for McDonald to work with him. Yep. Just in terms of like, so Stewart goes, you want to talk about like clear-cut elite athletes. The clear next one is Emanwari. Although, do they just get another? Do they just put both Ohio State wide receivers in the slot? They just take Igbuka and just have Smith and Jigba and Igbuka just both playing in the slot. Teams are like, we never tried two slot receivers. Our entire offense is slot based.
Is this Shamar Stewart's father on the ABC broadcast right now?
Couldn't tell you.
That's a
Seahawks were exploring a trade down, but they will pick. If it's not Emanwari, again, I could see them going after Mike Green.
I don't think I could see them one as much, but yeah.
Yeah. Wait, didn't they traded for Ernest Jones, right? I was going to say Jahad Campbell, but they extended Ernest Jones, right?
I don't know. They did a lot of linebacker movement last year. Blitzkrieg is saying Gray Zabel.
That makes sense. You can kind of theoretically play him anywhere. Sure.
Yeah.
And then, their offensive line was dog water. like who was
don't want your man seeing ghosts.
Wait, who was East Priest? Who was that awful man? Who was playing at right tackle for you? Who was like your third string? Just horrific.
Laken Tomlinson was at left guard, right? Right tackle. They just had a random dude at right tackle.
Laken Tomlinson was at left guard.
That was the 12th man. They found him every day.
Stone Forsythe. God, he's not good at football.
Not a real person.
Taking Gray Zabel. Here's the thing. I don't think he can play tackle.
That's fine.
I think he
plays center.
Yeah, I mean, people are awfully high on him. I think he's athletic. I also worry about North Dakota State guys, and just because I don't know. I didn't see him as a murderer.
Catan.
Like, I think he's probably fine. I think he's probably a good player, but
Donovan Ezeraku.
Is that who's going next?
Well, that's what Blitzkrieg says, and he's been on top of it, or she. Who's to say?
Ezeraku's an interesting one where I didn't like him as much as I wanted to like him. He looked like kind of like he's loafing out there at times, where you're like, sometimes you see one of the sickest moves ever. He's also got a terrible spin attempt. Like, his spin move is disgusting in the worst way. which is not to say you need a spin move, but I'm like, if you're going to try it, at least be mediocre at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Zabel's
By the way,
fine.
Gray Zabel is a little bit of nominative determinism for him to go to Seattle.
Explain what you mean there.
Nominative determinism, that's being named what it is you do.
Right.
And he's going to the grayest city in America.
That's true. To go from North Dakota to Seattle, by the way, love Seattle. But you do have to have a level of bleak appreciation to go there. You got to think gray.
I think he's from Pierre, South Dakota, capital of South Dakota. Shout out 5th grade geography.
Gray Zabel's him to Seattle is a really good fit, I will say.
It's fine. It is a totally fine pick.
He does also look like many of the men I've seen in Seattle.
Yeah, that's true. That boy's had an IPA or two. If you're wondering where the curtain box come from, by the way, that region of the country.
The corn-fed region of America.
You see Gray Zabel? Probably related in some way.
Yeah, somebody's saying green to the Bucks or Chiefs. And I will say it does feel like the Chiefs are going to get like an awesome problematic player because that's just their end game. And East Priest, you must enjoy listening to Nutshell by Alice in Chains on a broken porch with a cancer-ridden dog at your side to play here.
It's true.
It's true.
It is just... It's a tough place to live.
Every time I go,
9 months a year.
It's unfair because every time I go to Seattle, it's like at a nice time of year. Even when it's funny because Seattle's a place where if it rains a little bit, but not a lot, people are like, what a beautiful day. And everyone's out. If it's misty, people are like, this is awesome. They're outside with their dogs. All their dogs have coats. No, no one's really saying hi, but people are like have a nice energy.
Yeah.
It's great. I love Seattle.
I spend a lot of time in Seattle, and
it's great.
I love Seattle. But
it's great. And then every time you think about living there, you're like, well, I came on the nicest day they've had in 6 months. That's not really a
legitimate question for the curtain box in recent years is, oh, should we move to, we got family up there, like, oh, should we move to Seattle? Should we move to Seattle? And it's like, yeah, but like, what about Dad's depression?
What about me getting real sad? I already get sad down here in the winter, and our winter is 2 months of rain.
Yeah, we got it easy. Imagine when I lived in LA, how happy I was all the time. Except for
when I lived in New Jersey, I didn't need to be cold. I would go outside at 2 a.m. and play sad basketball when I was in high school in New Jersey, just with gloves on, bricking brick after brick after brick. Just shouting out obscure Knicks players like Pablo Prigioni, brick. Trying to dunk, not getting there. Trying to pretend, measuring my own vertical leap.
This is off the rails. We get weird. This is as weird as it's been in a minute. Who does Tampa take, Jake, so that I can leave?
Jahdae Barron, and then I'm going to say Travion Henderson. And then I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna watch this draft alone. And then tomorrow we'll be back.
You want me to just leave you in the channel? I'll just go.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think we've fulfilled our mandate.
I think we have. We got a long day tomorrow. Like Buka to the Bucks.
Long fucking. Buka to the Bucks doesn't.
Let's see.
Oh, that really messes with my head.
Interesting. I mean, listen. My whole thing was I thought Buka was going to be the first wide receiver taken. The McMillan thing threw that off. The fact that he went over Golden and Burden is nice, though. I mean, he's a great player.
That doesn't bother me. I don't understand. Tampa Bay has so many needs.
Correct.
Yeah. How, like, I get that now you have unbelievable. I mean, Godwin, I don't know what's going to happen with Godwin with the knee, right? but you have Mike Evans, and you don't know how long Mike Evans is going to play. So
yeah,
there's a long-term trajectory play here, which I do think is underrated. But at the same time, it's like, you know how bad your secondary was last year?
I know. I don't really understand that. And I would say we should leave the stream going, but you have full control over it. And how am I gonna get to comments?
You can keep the stream going. At some point, I do have to write a column tonight. I feel 2 hours is appropriate.
Yeah. By the way, if you haven't already, go follow the Hutch Report on Twitter.
Yes.
I've got it posted there. Again, everything's free right now. That'll probably change in the summer when we get into training camp. But right now, everything's free. I'll have a column after 49ers. Actually, I might write one tonight just for shit, just because I'm deranged. What was that?
One? The hutchreport.substack.com.
Yep, that's right. It's on my Twitter.
Page, if you
want,
on
my Twitter
right there.
Again, it's free. I had how I would approach the draft for the 49ers. I did say, again, if Mykel's there, he has to be the pick. And then if I'm them, if I'm them, and you get Trey Amos or Maxwell Hairston, someone there around mid-30s, still hanging there, I'd move up. I'd move up and go get him. Wow, some of these Bucs fans are hard to look at. Not easy on the eyes.
Buddy,
most NFL.
Tampa.
Listen, I interned for a congresswoman in Tampa. Some lovely people, but Florida is you got some interesting folks. Any part of Florida you go to.
It is something.
It is something.
Ibuka is a fascinating pick. I'm going to call this the Michael Penix pick of the year, in that it's going to end up looking really smart after maybe looking a bit convoluted and complicated right now.
Just because you know he's good. Like you have no concerns that he's going to be a productive NFL player. It's just
do you want to have to be in a position next year where you're like, we have to get a wide receiver in round 1, and then you look at it and it's like, what do you mean Jeremiah Smith isn't eligible yet?
Right. You're like, oh shit, I thought he was thought he was going to be there. And then Zachariah Branch turns out to have problems, or you don't know.
You don't know. I mean, is this a sneaky good top end wide receiver class? Because the fact that Luther Burden is not going to go in the first round, which has been pretty established today, is kind of speaks to some quality, no?
Yeah.
Luther Burden's a good player. Not
Luther
to
Burden,
go full Mizzou here. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's eye of the beholder, and it's also like Burden because he didn't produce well and because sometimes he takes plays off. I think people have questions about him and how he actually is in terms of craft as a wide receiver and being able to like play X, being able to like beat man. But like, yeah, he's a sick player. Like there's a point where he was a top 10 guy in this class.
43 as it stands right now at this moment, which is totally preposterous and frankly unfair. I think you just mentioned it a little bit. I know you just mentioned it a little bit. Like, let the corner come to you.
Let the corner come to you. If it gets a little dicey, there's options. You could make a case for like Josh Conerly or something at tackle.
Not me.
I'm just saying. Carson Schwezinger, Donovan Jackson. I don't think you could be that upset with getting Donovan Jackson at 43. I'm not sure they value guard that highly.
A good pick. Who might be there at 43, and I mean this. Burden might be there at 43.
If it's between Burden and Amos, I'm so high on Trey Amos, but like I would not criticize him at all for taking Burden. That could fall into their lap.
Gonna take my little just want to let
they
you know
could go there's a world where you could go Amos, Burden, or like Darius Alexander.
Our friend Tony, is Belton too rich at 43? Yes, Belton is too rich at 43.
Even probably at 75.
Trey Amos or Darius Alexander?
Amos.
We know where you're going.
I really like Alexander. But
we picked Alexander in the last mock draft.
But it didn't quite feel right. Yeah, I
Did
just
it?
think.
It felt okay to me. You talked me into it.
No.
I'm sorry that you didn't get the pleasure out of.
No, I
talked
liked
me into a
Alexander
thing that
lot.
I didn't want to do, but it didn't work out for you.
Listen, I think he's going to be a great player. I would be fine with him at 43. I have that on the record. Okay. But in terms of, I just think the Niners need to find a way to get Trey Amos. Is my point.
I think that I think that they're going to have a good cornerback fall to him. I think it might even be Revel. I think it might be Will Johnson. I mean, legitimately, this Will Johnson thing, we're at a point where who knows when it stops,
Yeah, and again, I'm not that high on him. So it's like he's got the size, right? And he's like a good zone corner, but like someone wrote like, if you want him to play press man, he's not going to do that. It's like, then what are you talking about?
What do we? I'm sorry. Are you familiar with the National Football League?
What on earth are you talking about? He can't play press man at all?
You think he can?
No. I don't.
Okay,
I kind of agree with them. I'm just saying like, you can't be like, "Ooh, he's really good," but he can't do like a crucial part of being a very successful corner.
If you need this quarterback to throw the ball more than 7 yards down the field, don't ask him. It's like, ooh, that seems important. Can't play press man. Like, that's a problem. That's the only thing that we talk about how difficult it is to evaluate college cornerbacks. It's because none of them play press man. So the idea that they couldn't, problematic. Because there's a lot of press man. One more question. Judkins or Henderson available at 43? Do the Niners seriously consider either? I think they do. I think they seriously consider both.
I think they should. I think either would be fine. I think Henderson is a better fit. He's more straightforward. But like, I love Judkins. I love both of those players. I have both of them above Amari and Hampton.
I had Judkins above all the other running backs.
Wow. Look at you.
Well,
look at you, man.
I'm a saucy boy. We're just going to go back.
Oh, man.
Back. Look at his beautiful face. Broncos.
It's funny. It's funny that they didn't. Is that what happened? Or is
I'm going off of Blitzkrieg at this point. Blitzkrieg is all over it for us.
Jahdae Barron.
That's a good pick for them.
I mean, I'm surprised he was there at 20. Man. Matthew Golden looks awfully sad. Awfully flashy.
He should be.
His suit is way too...
I'm sorry. I have ABC on. I'm not listening to it, obviously, because I'm listening to a far better analyst in Jake Hutchinson. But are they just constantly saying Shadur Sanders? Is that their thing?
They haven't. They mentioned Shadur every now and then. But yeah, I guess he's just hanging around.
Why is Brandon Pajemski on the stage?
Okay, you have to hang around at least through 21 because Pittsburgh has been a spot that they mention for Shadur.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you can't go wrong with Jahdae Barron. Pairing him with who's their corner, the all-world corner that they have. I'm forgetting every name in the NFL.
Surtain.
Patrick Surtain.
Junior. By the way, can I get this off my chest because we're in a very safe space right now. I don't know who Jimmy Butler's dad is. I don't know who like Deebo Samuel. Stop doing Deebo Samuel Sr. Stop the senior crap. I'm a parent too, right?
Yeah.
Like I get it.
Yeah.
I want to honor my child. Well, your child doesn't need differentiation from you because they're a child. Or like, I want to honor my dad, which again, I can respect that you want to honor these people with your name on the back. That's your prerogative. But like, I don't need to refer to Jimmy Butler III as Jimmy Butler III because there's no differentiation to the other Jimmy Butlers.
Right. It's true.
Sorry.
It's true. Yeah, I like the take. It's an anti-father take is how I'm choosing to interpret that.
I'm anti-natalist.
I'm anti-family. I'm an anti-family guy. Yeah, as Yeastpree says, apparently they keep moaning on not true, but maybe
that's my foot channel.
It's just Mel Kiper going, oh my god, like every single pick.
Just Mel Kiper just eating a pumpkin pie and moaning.
He's just parting his hair.
Mel Kiper eating pumpkin pie every day, right?
Every day? Is this like how
Every
Al
day.
Michaels hasn't ever had a vegetable?
Have
you noticed that everyone in sports media is insane? Also,
I got two more for you. You ready? You ready?
You go first. You go first.
Okay. Ian Eagles never had a condiment.
I did know about that. I don't know how that's possible, but.
And Jim Nantz carries around a picture of burnt toast on a laminated card in his wallet so that when he goes to restaurants and he says, I'd like my toast burnt, he can then show them a photo.
Dude, I respect that completely.
I've had a very deep conversation with Brian Curtis of The Ringer, who covers sports media
Brian
there,
Curtis.
about how he needs to do the definitive, like, what is the matter with these people article, because all of them are strange.
All of them are insane. And like a lot of these people, but also
I have very deep affection for many of them on a personal level. They're still insane.
Absolutely insane. Fun fact that I was going to say, every single national reporter, every single big national reporter is 5'5". They are all outrageously short. I went to the NFL Combine one year and I went, oh no. Oh, is this why you need this in your life? Is it a complex thing? And I'm not trying to just be crass, but it's a fact. As a tall man, do you feel
Schefter's itty bitty? I can't do anything with this.
I think he's normal. I think Schefter might be normal sized, but he's not tall. He's not tall.
I love the concept of normal sized. Omari and Hampton to the Steelers is a play, and it's happened. It's already gone down. It's quite interesting.
Interesting.
Would you care to opine?
They love a running back. They love a physical running back. And no. He's not going to the Steelers. It's Derek Harmon.
Oh, apologies. Huh. I hate that for them. I guess they run a 3-4. So kind of makes some sense. I don't know. I hate it. I couldn't stand Oregon tape. Couldn't stand it. What are you laughing about? Put your headphones back in. Jake's just quitting on us.
By the way, I've completely lost audio on Dieter's end, so I just can't hear anything. So we have to stop the stream because my headphones have died, and I can't hear a word Dieter's saying. So unfortunately, due to that reason, we're gonna have to call it.
We will talk to you tomorrow, unless the 49ers do a very stupid thing and trade up. They won't. We will talk to you tomorrow. After pick 43 or wherever they take it, and then we'll talk to you after that, and then we'll talk to Larry, and we'll rub it in his face very hard. Talk to you then. Adios,
so whatever
everybody.
Dieter said, yes. Great. Bye.